Hello, what is up you guys? It is Liam Simmons 2000 here, back with another figure review, this time on the new Mattel Masters of the Universe Chronicles line 2026 movie He-Man. If you're looking to buy this, you can buy it off of The Entertainer or Amazon, or if you're lucky, you're local. But as you can see, it says Masters in a nice red there, which looks really cool. Then up there in a basic white, and then the universe in a sort of black varnish, which is cool. Then you've got the Chronicles in a nice white to say this is a Chronicles line. You've got a nice movie shot there of He-Man holding his sword, which looks really cool. And again, I love this movie. Then you've got He-Man there in a movie text, and I believe if you hold it sideways, it does say He-Man, which is a really cool touch. I do like that. Then, of course, you've got the picture Mattel is showing to show that it's superposable, which is cool. Then you've got the Mattel logo here. Then you've got, of course, He-Man here on the side. Then on the other side, of course, you've got Skeletor, which looks so badass. I love that Skeletor a lot. I thought he stole the show in this movie. He was awesome. And then you've got, of course, some clashing if you hold it that way. Then on the other side, you have He-Man again from the movie with, of course, his name there. And then at the bottom here, you just have Masters of the Universe in an orange and then Chronicles there. Then, of course, at the top, you have a nice Masters of the Universe in a black varnish, which is cool. Then at the bottom, you just have a load of fonts and just where I got it from, which is really cool. Then, of course, at the back, you see a product shot of He-Man holding his sword, which looks awesome. Then you've got some other product shots here of him in poses, which looks cool. Then, of course, you've got the other figures from the line, which is He-Man, Man-at-Arms, and I believe Triclops, which are all looking really cool. Then, of course, you've got Mattel there again. And then you've got Masters of the Universe with just some fonts again. So, without further ado, let's crack this thing open. And here is He-Man out of the packaging with his accessories. And while opening the package, I also noticed that they did this on the side to show you he comes with a sword, 2 fists, and then the figure, which is a nice touch. You know, Mattel didn't have to show the sword, the 2 fists, and the figure on the side, but it looks cool. And then, of course, you have the Castle of Grayskull backdrop, which looks really cool. But without further ado, let's show off these accessories. So, we'll first take a look at his sword, and it does look cool for a Mattel figure. I love the blades. I love this unique blade here on the handle of the sword, which looks really cool. Again, it is a marble silver. I think it could have done with some black wash at most, which is fine, but for a Mattel, this is really cool. Then, of course, for the handle, you have a brown paint for the leather, which looks cool, with the tip of the handle being silver. And then you've got some engraving here, but you can't really make it out as it is in that marble silver, which again, a bit of a gripe, but it is a Mattel and, you know, it still looks cool. And this sword was badass in the movie. I loved it. Then, of course, he comes with an interchangeable fist, which is cool, so he can punch people, which is awesome. And then he comes with another fist here, as you can see, which is cool. So I really do love this figure. I think it is really, really awesome. I love the transparent emblem on his chest. It looks so, so cool. I love the leather on him as well, with all the little details like the little bolts in his armor are in gold. Love the loincloth as well with all the detail. The arm guards look really, really, really cool as well. You've got a nice silver, you've got a nice gold with some brown, which looks really cool. Then again, it's the same on the other side. And then, of course, you have the boots, which aren't what they usually are for He-Man, as they are leather instead of furry. The same as the loincloth for this movie, they changed it to leather instead of fur, which I don't mind. It looks awesome. Then, of course, at the back, you have more detail on the back, which looks cool. Then you have the silver thing here, which is to hold his sword, which is something I'm really happy about, because not many companies do this. I think NECA have done this in the past, but not really great. So it's cool to see Mattel giving a shot and trying it with this He-Man. But yeah, overall, really, really, really cool. So without further ado, let's show the articulation. So for articulation, this guy can have his arm go all the way around 360, which is cool. His arm can go all the way up thanks to that butterfly joint. Then all the way down. He does have double jointed elbows, which is really cool. They can go about that far up, which is cool. Then he has hands that can rotate, which is cool, as well as the gauntlets, which is a cool touch. Then he can kick up about that far, and he can kick down about that far, and he can kick all the way up thanks to the double jointed knees, which is really, really cool. Then again, the same with this arm here, 360 all the way round. And then he can rotate at the arm, which I forgot to show with the other, but that's really cool again. The gauntlets can rotate too, which is cool. And then the fist can rotate. And again, kick that far forward, that far back, which is really, really cool. And he can also do the splits about that much, which is cool. And then his boots also rotate, which is really, really cool for a He-Man figure, which again, really, really cool. And then, of course, for ab crunch, he can crunch that far forward, and then he can crunch that far back. So really, really, really cool articulation for this He-Man figure. Really, really, really awesome to see. So without further ado, let's add these accessories. And here he is with his sword in his holster or sheath, and he looks so badass. I think this figure is amazing. As you can see, here is the sword right here in the sheath, and it does a really cool job. And you just unslot it like that and slot it in like that, which again, really, 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 really cool figure. And again, if I want him to hold the sword, I believe it is in this hand. You just have to just push it in a bit. Usually with NECA and other figures, you have to warm these up, so I don't know if I'll get it to fit. I'll have to take it off camera. So after some warming up of the hand and putting the sword in, I managed to finally put it in, and I managed to do this pose, which is a pose not many figures can do. I've heard they can't do these in the other Masters of the Universe lines, and NECA struggle to pull this off, especially with the Samurai Predator. If you haven't seen that review, check it out. But Mattel have managed to pull it off, where he looks like he's grabbing his sword from his sheath, and I'm so happy you can do that. It looks so awesome. And as you can see here, you can literally grab it. I could also make him physically grab that sword. And then if I do this with it, if I take it out, I can also put it in his hand properly, like this. And I could pull off when he says, I have the power, which, again, really cool. Looking up at the sword like that, which is a really cool pose. Really love this figure. Again, that is a badass pose. Again, the sword looks cool. The figure looks really cool. And again, the emblem just looks so sick. Love the gold detail on the belt as well with the silver. Again, you can see all the golden, like, sort of screws or armor pins, which look cool, and then the gold detail. This stuff I didn't notice when I was talking about it before. It sort of loses it a bit at the back, which is cool. And then another thing you probably didn't know is this on pins, which is really cool. Which I will show you with my other one, because I did get two of these figures just because one of them had a problem. This one doesn't, thankfully. But I'm gonna pull in my other He-Man that I got. And here is my new movie He-Man next to my old one. And yes, I did get two of these because this one did have a problem. But you can also unpeg the armor. As you can see here, there are these two notches here. And you just clip these in over his body like that. And it sort of goes back on. But I took this off to show you the problem. And as you can see, it has that white mark on it, which is a bit bad. And I wanted to get a clean one. And of course, these are also removable, which is really cool. Don't know why you would remove these, but they are removable. Just the joints do look a bit ugly under his hand here, where his guards would be, which is a bit of a shame. But you can see again, his neck has, you know, a joint here as well as his head. And you can see the ab crunch, which is cool. Again, really awesome. And I love my new version so much more than this. Which is a shame, because I really wanted my first one to be the one I liked. But yeah, the old one I have here, just the loincloth is just bent out of shape. Tried fixing it, there's no fixing it. The legs just squeak every time I'm moving them, and it feels really fragile. And just stuff like that with this particular figure. But like I said, I got my brand new one, and the interchangeable hands work so much better with the new one. Just everything feels so much better than it did with this one. Removing the hands is a nightmare with this one, and just stuff like that. But I got a new one, and thankfully it was a really cool experience to get it again. But I don't know what I'll do with this He-Man here, because I already have a movie one. Do I want to do an anti-He-Man, or am I just going to keep it for spares? I don't know. I think an anti-He-Man would look cool, or maybe a Quasar, like a MCU-inspired Quasar maybe, would be cool. But yeah, with that figure, that's all I wanted to show. It's out the way, it is measuring time. And this figure stands just about 7 inches tall, which is really cool. His hair goes up to 7 inches, which is really cool. Past the 6.5 inches, which is cool. So it's about the size of a McFarlane, which goes really well. And I can't wait to get a Superman figure in the future to pose them together to create that epic scene from the comics. But yeah, and without further ado, it is comparison time. And here we have the Masters of the Universe Chronicles 2026 movie He-Man, alongside another cartoon I grew up with. We have Lino from the Thundercats. I believe this is a really old Bandai figure, and as you can see, He-Man just dwarfs Lino. And yeah, this is a really old figure. As you can see, it is really scuffed up. And here we have the 2026 movie He-Man, alongside another super strong character. We have the Marvel Legends Comic Century. And these two are both the same height, as you can see. They are the same height, it's just this Century struggles to stand properly. But they are the same height, which is really cool. And if you wanted, I guess, you could make maybe a Quasar with this head sculpt from the Century with the yellow eyes and stuff. Maybe even make a He-Man costume. But again, this is He-Man alongside Marvel Legends Century. Again, he is quite a tall Marvel Legend, so not your average Marvel Legend sized figure. And here is the Masters of the Universe Chronicles movie He-Man. Next to one of my favourite figures, we have the McFarlane Batman Beyond figure. And he does look about the same size on camera, but off camera, Batman Beyond does look a slightly bit taller. But given the Batman Beyond suit does make modifications, gives Terry McGinnis super strength and whatnot, it wouldn't be unlikely that it would make him look taller. But again, on camera, you can barely notice. Like, that is really cool. And again, they did do an Injustice comic with He-Man versus Superman. So again, really cool. And here's the Mattel Masters of the Universe Chronicles line movie He-Man, next to the NECA Alien Romulus Xenomorph XX121 and the NECA Ultimate Predator Hunting Ground Samurai Predator. And here we have the Masters of the Universe Chronicles movie He-Man, alongside another Mattel figure, this time the Elite Ultimate Warrior from Ringside Collectibles. And again, they do look okay. I think He-Man still looks a bit taller. Again, this Elite figure does use a different body to He-Man, just because it's a bit less, you know, articulated. But still, same material, still feels the same plastic almost. But there you have it. You know, Ultimate Warrior next to He-Man. And again, I would argue that He-Man is a slightly bit taller. And here we have the Mattel Masters of the Universe Chronicles movie He-Man next to the Mattel Ultimate WWE Jeff Hardy 2000s figure. And I've got to say, the Ultimate line from Mattel is very similar to the new Chronicles line in terms of articulation. It has the same ab crunch. It has the same interchangeable hand sort of thing. And the only thing I would argue the Ultimate line has over the Chronicles is the articulated feet. These are the only things that it has over that. And even then, I still prefer this new figure over the articulation on this. But you've got to bear in mind, this is a wrestling figure, not really a superhero figure. So you want it to be decked out on articulation. And yeah, I would argue, yeah, He-Man does look more presentable with the way his feet are, not having the gaps or anything. But again, you're talking wrestling figure and sort of a superhero figure slash display piece. So again, the articulation will vary. But again, they are both the exact same size as well, which is really interesting. And just for a laugh, here is the Masters of the Universe Chronicles movie He-Man version 2 next to the Masters of the Universe Chronicles He-Man version 1 that I bought. Hey brother, if you're really another me, what do you say when you hold the sword up in the air? I know what I say, okay. I have the gold! No, brother, it's I have the power! Wait, what's happening? Wait, where did he go? So, overall, what do I think of the Mattel Masters of the Universe Chronicles line movie He-Man? I'm not gonna lie, at first I didn't know if I would pick up this figure or if it would appeal to me. But after watching the movie and really liking it, I decided to pick this figure up, and I'm glad I did. The articulation on it is so good, you can definitely tell it's aimed at collectors. You know, 360 in the arm, double jointed elbows, rotation in the hands, boot swivel, double jointed knees. You've even got articulation in the neck as well as the head and an ab crunch. And also you can put his arm behind his back to reach his sword from his sheath, which other companies have failed to do. Looking at you, NECA, like they failed to do that twice. But overall, really love this figure, and I'll definitely be picking up a few others. I definitely want to get Skeletor, maybe Man-at-Arms and Trapjaw, but I also want to get Scareglow, but I don't think I'll be able to, as it is a Walmart exclusive and is only in the States. So I don't know if I'll be able to get that, but I definitely will get Trapjaw. He does look really cool. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.
Heard you had a lot to say. Now you don't really talk too much though.